This is Coach Chris Holtman. You're listening to Drive the Lane podcast.
Drive the Lane podcast, recording on the Sunday after the game in which Ohio State, shocker, won again, making it 8 in a row. Ohio State basketball 2-0 this week, defeating Morgan State and Kent State. And we have an interview with the tallest man that we have ever seen, Gregory Oden. A very, very fun, interesting, and incredible interview with Gio. This is an awesome episode. We introduce a new segment, which is our college basketball recap segment. And that's all coming up after this ad for High Street Tees. High Street Tees are the best t-shirts. Not sure if you saw them, but they were featured in Barstool Sports' live stream of the game. So High Street Tees is going global. The best shirts, the best gifts for the holidays. And we're going to get you a discount. Head on over to highstreettees.com/DTL. And once you got your shirts in your cart, check out. Use promo code DTL15 for 15% off your order.
All right. We are back. The Drive the Lane podcast is back on the Lettermen Row networks. You know it. You love it. The Drive the Lane podcast here after Ohio State's big weekend. Not only in football, of course, but in basketball, too. The Buckeyes were undefeated, 3-0, 2-0 in basketball, 1-0 in football, and obviously the biggest game was beating that team up north. That is breaking news, no longer our rival.
Yeah, I was going to start off the show by saying this. I always argue with my friends, what's the bigger rivalry, the Iron Bowl or the game? And I think it's the Iron Bowl because both teams need to win for it to be a rivalry.
Yeah, and there's usually something in the Iron Bowl, something matters, you know, like whether it's Alabama trying to make the playoff or Auburn trying to crush Alabama to get out of the playoff or something. This game was meaningless. It looked meaningless. It's actually unbelievable. I think I might have said it before. For basketball, we wanted to beat Michigan because Ohio State has bad blood with Michigan, all that stuff, the football rivalry, yada yada yada. But we looked at other schools like Indiana or Michigan State or Purdue or whoever. We wanted to beat those guys, maybe even more. So maybe that's starting to turn for Ohio State because the Penn State game was way better, and it seems like we play Wisconsin every year in the Big Ten Championship. So, like I said before, breaking news, Ohio State football has a new rival.
But I think it's interesting to note that every year Ohio State is playing to get into the playoff or to get the Big Ten Championship, something like that. Michigan's usually playing to decide which of the Florida Bowls they're going to be in.
Whether they're going to be in the Boca Raton Wet the Beak Bowl or the GoDaddy Supercharger Bowl or
the Drive the Lane Fiat 500 Bowl.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
But seriously, it's just not a rivalry, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Because Urban Meyer killed the rivalry.
I mean, it sucks for Michigan. It doesn't suck for us.
Urban Meyer killed the rivalry. I saw a stat that Michigan, I might be botching this a little bit. When Tressel took over, Michigan was 56 and 32 against Ohio State, and now they're 58 and 56.
Yeah, that's
since Tressel took over.
Literally, I know we've lost once in 14 games or whatever it is, but I don't remember us losing in my entire life. Like I don't even remember that game.
I think they beat Tressel once, and they beat Luke Fickell when he was the coach.
I literally don't remember. So
Luke Fickell, I mean, that was like the worst Ohio State team of our lifetime.
But still, there's been bad Ohio State teams that have beaten them too. So
right,
but I literally don't remember.
It's sad for them, like we were saying.
Luckily, Michigan's a football or a basketball school anyway, so they'll be just fine.
But we should definitely talk about the upcoming Big Ten Championship where Ohio State is a laughable 15-point favorite over Wisconsin. Anytime you're in a conference championship, it should not be that lopsided of a line.
I mean, last year Northwestern was 14 or something like that, which is like, okay, that's Northwestern, but now it's Wisconsin, and Wisconsin theoretically a more formidable opponent, and it's supposed to be even more of a blowout. So I don't see the Bucs losing. I don't see them losing by more than 2 touchdowns either. So or less than 2 touchdowns, I guess. So
I remember we talked earlier in the year. We talked about it at our live show. We talked about it a little bit after that. We were scared to potentially play Wisconsin twice because you never want to play 2 teams twice.
Yeah, I'm not.
But
scared
it doesn't
of
work like that when the gap is as large as it is.
It doesn't work like that when you blow them out the first. I mean, like when Ohio State goes in the game knowing they're not going to lose, then yeah, you're right. It just doesn't work like that.
Are you going to Indy?
I don't know. I might. I have some buddies that are going down there, and it's a perfect middle ground from my Ohio friends and the Chicago peeps. So it's definitely a possibility. If anyone wants to give me tickets, I'd appreciate that. So
yeah, please. I will not be in attendance, but I will FaceTime you at the end of the game.
Great. If I'm going right now, if I'm going to India, I don't think I'm going to the game. Just would be fun to be there and feel the atmosphere. That because that atmosphere will be very palpable. So
that'll be twice in the span of 2.5 weeks that you're down in Indy.
Yeah. I love Indy. Shout out to Indy. That place, Indy, is the best major sporting event town in the country because it is perfectly built to host a Final Four, to host the Big Ten championship, to host the Big Ten tournament for basketball. It has the downtown atmosphere, but also you can walk around everywhere, and you don't need to Uber to places, and you don't need to stay out of the city because it's too expensive. It's just easy. It's even better than, obviously I'm biased to Chicago for the Big Ten tournament at least. Indy, we would walk to the arena, and then in Chicago it was a 20-minute drive to go 3 miles. So Indy's awesome. Just it's so much fun to be there. The atmosphere is great, and it should be a blast, especially when the Bucks take it home and we head to the playoff as the number 1 seed.
Before we get to our college basketball talk, Joe Burrow just about secured the Heisman.
Not only did he secure the Heisman, he had not often is the Heisman moment something that is off the field, but when he came out of the locker room wearing Burrow spelled like a Cajun would spell it, not only did he win the hearts of everyone, if they haven't already, he probably cemented a statue being presented in his honor years later when they hopefully they don't. It's gonna be so crazy when they play Ohio State in the championship. But obviously his legacy will be incredible because he brought them back to stardom, and he'll win a Heisman. So forever a legend, Joe Burrow.
All right, well, we'll talk a little bit about
it's basketball season.
College basketball.
Yeah, it's basketball season.
Go Tigers.
Yeah, I can't do. If you guys can't tell, my voice is a little hoarse. Not even from the game, but I don't know what's going on. But I can't do my go Tigers. I can't.
We just gotta get you healthy. We gotta get you healthy for Indy.
I just need some green tea. And
you gotta bring a towel to Indy.
Oh, I don't need a towel.
You gotta be.
Oh my God,
your voice is gone.
Yeah, we're losing it.
All right, we want to introduce you guys to our new college basketball.
You
segment.
might recognize it. It's a spinoff of a popular podcast.
Kind of.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
All right.
Shout out Clark Kellogg.
Welcome back to the College Basketball Recap Show. I'm your host, Andrew Zolden. We're going to recap all the crazy and interesting things that happened this week in college basketball. We move to the East region for the Battle for Atlantis, where the Wolverines of Michigan defeated the Bulldogs of Gonzaga. The Tar Heels of UNC were also defeated by Michigan in the tournament.
Oh, Andy, man, do those Wolverines look fantastic in the early going this year. I'm your co-host, Joey Lane, and today we bring you the West region, where in the Maui Invitational, the Jayhawks of Kansas knock off the Dayton Flyers, but man, does Dayton look like a formidable opponent moving forward.
In the South region, we had a huge upset where the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin defeated the unbelievably good, normally, Blue Devils of Duke. A sad game for Coach K, who was suffering some back pain, but looks to get back on the court next week.
Get well soon, Coach. But that's all great and dandy, but then you look at the West, and in the West region, the most fantastically fast-paced region, Marcus Howard dropped 51 points for the Marquette Golden Eagles against the USC Fighting Trojans. You know, the Trojans used to be so good. Not sure what happened to them.
And you can't forget our Buckeyes, Joseph. We're in the Midwest region. The Buckeyes beat Morgan State and Kent State in the battle of the states between Ohio State, Kent State, and Morgan State.
You know where the Buckeyes played the game against Kent State, don't you?
St. John Arena.
Oh, man, is that a fun place to play. But, man, the Big Ten has some fantastic teams in the early going. 3 teams at 7-0, including Maryland, Michigan, and, of course, your Ohio State Buckeyes. Look for the Buckeyes to be in the top 5? Question mark? At the end of this next week's AP poll.
We'll find out. Back to you in the studio, Greg Gumbel.
All right. It's all fun and games, but now we bring you the serious, not so serious Greg Oden for a fantastic interview. Gio is the man, my scout team center, the most dominant practice player I've ever seen in my 4 years at Ohio State. And don't you dare label the guy a bust, because if it weren't for injuries, he would be one of the best players to ever play the center position. So without further ado, we have Greg Oden.
We now welcome on to the Drive the Lane podcast, easily the most recognizable guy around Columbus, Ohio, Greg Oden. Gio, welcome to the show. What is up, my man?
I'm good, fellas. Thank you for having me, Joey/Smoke. It is great to see you, sir.
So great to see you as well. Every time I come back to Columbus, we talk about meeting up. We've been in the same arena for a basketball game, but it is now that our paths finally crossed again after our beautiful senior night together.
I know, that was awesome. It makes me feel so good. How long ago was that? About 6 months, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you. It feels like for me it was forever ago.
Yeah, I mean, a lot has happened since then, and I keep on saying May, like May was just recently, but it was like, damn it.
That's a long time
a while ago.
I'd say now it's raining and cold and snowy. It's like it's not May anymore.
So I have to let this be known that we are sitting in Andrew Dockich's apartment, and
it's our Columbus studio.
I have never been here, and I love that you were the one to invite me here. So we definitely have to get on him for that.
Yeah, and Doc is making a guest appearance if you're watching us on YouTube.
Yeah, I might be blocking his head, but
it's okay.
I'm also named Andrew, so it's
that works out perfect.
Well, when we actually interviewed Dan Dockich, and he kept saying like, Andrew, and I kept thinking like, he's not talking about me, right? He's not talking about me.
Well, we call you Zolden anyway.
Yeah, that's my last name, Zolden. First name Andrew, A to Z. You know, it's kind of cool.
That is cool.
It's like
I like that you have my last name in your last name.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
Not spelled the same.
But it is pronounced.
Cool. Very cool.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna start telling people that.
It's like, Zolden, like Odin, but like with a Z.
And an L. All right, but other than coming to Dockich's house for podcasts, what are you up to these days?
A lot. Raising a baby girl, which is number one.
That's awesome.
I have a beautiful family. I have recently done some speaking to a lot of the NBA guys, some college kids, high school kids. And then most recently, I am starting to work for this company called EduCore, which is a financial education company. Doing some things. It's going to be good in the future. I don't know how much I can say just yet because the press release just came out yesterday, but I'm pretty excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah. We talk all the time about what we are, what we're looking to do, what we're trying to do, and you've mentioned coaching, and this is, I would say, a similar path to coaching because you correct me if I'm wrong, the majority of the reason you wanted to go into coaching was to teach about, what you went through, how you came out stronger than ever and just influence young adults in the best way possible. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, as you all know in the basketball world, coaching and teaching, goes hand in hand. And I think back in my day, I've seen some good basketball. I've played with some pretty decent players. And, I know from a younger kid, just to having somebody with that type of experience to just teach you the game. And also I'm from Indiana. That's the mecca of basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we can pump the brakes a little bit on that being a Chicago guy. But I will say, driving through Indiana, you see hoops everywhere. It's impressive. Like it's impressive. Like in my neighborhood, there's a lot of hoops because like people just have a lot of money, so there's basketball hoops everywhere. But in Indiana, you drive through the neighborhoods, like there's like 2 basketball hoops on some driveways. It's insane.
It's weird if you don't have a basketball.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, you mentioned some good basketball players. I guess we should probably talk about some of the best that you played with. If you had to give like a top 5, you can, whether it was high school, college, NBA. Who are some of the favorite guys, strictly basketball-wise that you played with?
So high school, got to go with Mike Conley and Daquan Cook. Josh McRoberts, Eric Gordon.
Yeah, wait, talk about the best AAU team of all time first.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't play on that one with Ron Artest or the Atlanta Celtics. I'm just saying.
No. You really think that's a better team than it was Spieth, right?
It was Spieth and the Heat. I don't know because we never had a chance to play against each other. And, I mean, a lot of people talk about that Ron Artest's AAU team, that they were just unstoppable. And then Atlanta Celtics, I mean, they had it seemed like 4 NBA bigs in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
So it was like, me and Josh can guard 2 of them.
But how many can play at one time?
You're right. I mean, but shoot, you ever watch them? They played together. What was it? Randolph, Dwight Howard, Josh Smith.
I mean, the dudes were also going from high school to the NBA on that team too, which is, I mean, that just shows you that they were physically just dominating.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, your team was unbiasedly, like, your team, how many games did you guys lose?
It was either 3 or 4.
Yeah, like, that's insane, and that's not in 1 year.
Who'd you lose to? Do you know?
I remember one time we lost to H-Town.
Anyone notable on that team?
He played for Memphis. His last name Douglas Roberts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In the national championship game.
Yeah.
With D Rose.
Yeah.
Speaking of D Rose, also on one of the best AAU teams of all time when him and Eric Gordon.
When Eric, after we all graduated.
Right,
yes.
exactly.
Just make sure it was after that because
Exactly.
Eric was on our team first, just so y'all know.
Right. The best AAU team of all time. Can you just list them real quick? It's you, Josh McRoberts, Eric Gordon.
Daquan Cook and Mike Conley, Curtis White, Darren Granger, Mark Titus, Grayson Flitner.
But we make fun of Mark a lot. He was a good basketball player, though.
He was a great basketball player.
And he was taller than everyone else, too.
Yes, he was actually one of the best shooters in Indiana.
Right, which is insane. And everyone listening has no idea that Mark was actually a good basketball player, but you don't get on Ohio State by accident unless you're best friends with Mike Conley.
No, it's because he was actually pretty darn good.
Right.
I still like telling this story that one day I came back after I got drafted, and I think it was his junior year, and he just was out of it. And then we played an open gym, and it was me, Mark, high school Aaron Kraft, and 2 other guys. And I don't even think I remember their names. I don't remember their names.
Of course.
And we literally ran the court against Evan Turner, Diebler, Dallas Lauderdale, all those guys.
Aaron Kraft, obviously, in the summers, all the former Ohio State guys could come back and play, whether it was even you when you were working out to get back to China. And, obviously the list goes on and on. It was Diebler, Kraft, E.T. D. Russ even came back a couple of times. Like, those are the best pickup games ever. But whatever team Aaron Kraft was on, he always won.
Yeah. He's a winner.
A winner.
And I'm just going to say it started when he came to that open gym.
Of course, yeah. You set the foundation.
I put myself in there.
Yeah. Okay. We've talked about some great teammates, basketball-wise. What about strictly, locker room guys?
Basically, we want to know about LeBron.
I could tell you that's usually what it gets to. But for one, I'm going that whole entire Miami Heat team in their own way were just all great people and stand-up guys. I mean, Shane Battier is one of my all-time favorite people in this world. Mm-hmm. I really look at him as one of my best friends because he gave me so much knowledge and being that nice and somehow being a Duke guy.
That doesn't happen.
No, and then I go Mike Conley. Ray Allen, I sat next to him on the planes. All those guys from the Heat. Portland, Brandon Roy, LaMarcus Aldridge, Juwan Howard,
Whoa.
Ooh, careful.
Marcus Camby, Andre Miller,
we
Steve
move on.
Blake. Wait, oh, no. Juwan's I just talked to Juwan.
Everyone seems to love him, but now, you should go to Michigan practice and spy.
I actually will. I think I want to go see a Michigan practice.
Of course.
But I'm not going to spy.
Yeah, I know.
He was literally, so it's crazy. So it was like, he was my teammate in Portland. He was my coach in Miami. And now he's with that team up north again, and it kind of hurts.
Yeah, it's wild. Everyone, just a crazy journey.
Do you ever see Durant and you're like, yo, I went one. Screw you. You went two. You ever brag to him or?
No.
Well, I mean, you seem like a nice guy, but I thought maybe you'd be like, yo, Durant.
No, Durant, man, I love Durant. KD is a cool dude, man. It was crazy because at the draft, I was doing so much. I'm pretty sure my uncle told me that he's seen and talked to KD more than he's talked to me that whole entire time in New York. So, I mean, I've always enjoyed KD. Get well soon, my brother.
He's definitely listening. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he hears that,
Yeah.
and it just brings up somebody's going to get it to him, and then you guys are going to get your name out there. That's what we're hoping to start right.
Right, exactly. So, KD, Gio wishes you the best.
Yes.
Is there like a group text with all the NBA players that have been drafted first overall?
No.
Can we start one?
No.
Okay, wait. We have to get back to LeBron just because it's LeBron. We always talked about in the locker room because your locker was next to mine in the locker room when you were a manager, in air quotes.
Yeah.
And you always showered with your own towel. You didn't use the Shots towels, and it was a Miami Heat towel with Oden. What were some of the best gifts that you got, whether it's from the teammates or from the Heat while you're there?
It's crazy. It was so many gifts that now that y'all put me on the spot, I can't think of the best ones.
You can list them. Feel free.
Because LeBron was always giving us stuff.
I know. You've told me plenty of times.
Bird was always giving us stuff. Ray was always. It felt like I know they weren't like trying to go against each other, but it was like it was kind of like I felt like one time I had to give some stuff. Like somebody gave me some basketballs, and I was like, I mean, I know they're not going to use it, but I'm gonna put it on their locker because I got to feel like I got to give some gifts too. Like I got to be a part of this. But to just go about LeBron, man, he's one of the most talented people. Just as a person who's a business, how he handles his affairs and then comes out there and put that effort in out there on the court. And I swear to God, I seen the man in practice jump from the free throw line in a half court set and dunked over the whole entire defensive squad. Like it was freaking amazing. I was literally riding the bike, and I swear it was like the first day of like practice. I swear it was the first day or second day, and the assistant coach, Coach Fizdale, literally looks at me and goes, "You're gonna see more than that." I was like, "What?" It's just saw this man jump from the free throw line in practice, like in the scrimmage.
Oh, but we should mention that he was doing steroids then, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What?
No, when he was on the Heat, this is
I'm
a
cutting
theory.
this out. I'm cutting this out.
Please cut this.
I refuse.
Wait, no. I don't believe it. Andrew Goldstein, who you know, former Ohio State GA.
Oh.
He told me this is his theory, and he's a New York guy. That's why he doesn't.
Now
like
you're
LeBron.
incriminating this guy.
Yeah, I am. That's fine. He won't care. Goldstein, Goldsteinberg, as I called him. But he said when LeBron was on the Heat, that was when everyone was talking about how he's 6'9", 285, all muscle. They start testing for HGH. The next year, he slims down to 265. Coincidence?
I refuse to believe.
I'm just going to move past that.
I'm moving. Sorry. Next question. This side of the room is extremely uncomfortable.
I'm going to go ahead and scoot over here. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's go Dockers now.
So we're going to move completely past that from that topic because this is a pro-LeBron podcast. I know you're pro-LeBron.
Always.
Always. Well, who's the greatest player of all time? Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Whoa, okay. Center bias.
Yeah.
I respect that,
you know what?
because most dominant, maybe.
I will. You could say center bias, but the more I learned about the history, and they said that man would literally, they were like, well, damn, you can't even pass. So he'll just go out and average like 11 assists, or actually, was it like 12 or 13 assists one year? Like he had
to change rules for him.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't they outlaw dunking after he started dunking a lot?
I thought
but
that
they
was
made the
Kareem
lane.
in college.
Yeah.
They made the lane. They either made the lane wider or they made the 3-second rule because of him. I think they had to make the 3-second rule.
I don't know that. All I know is anything that man wanted to do in the basketball court, he did.
All right. So, speaking of unstoppable players, obviously yourself. Pretty
Oh,
dominant.
bro.
We were
That's
actually
pretty nice.
We were actually
I wasn't
we were
gonna go there.
Before you got here, I was like, it's been about 25 years since Oden was on Ohio State. I'm gonna watch some highlight refreshers,
Okay.
and it was just like it was like 15 minutes of you just getting the ball down low, one dribble dunk, and you would pull your feet all the way up, basically to the backboard. I thought you were gonna do like a backflip off the backboard, and I told Joey, I was like, this is kind of boring. He just dunks and scores every time
he touches it.
Oh, that's boring? Oh, okay. That's why I did it. And did it over and over again.
The best kind of boring ever.
Yes.
There was like 3 dunks in a row where you dunked it so hard and you lift your legs up that you kick the ball into the ref's like chest.
Oh, no. In high school, I swear, this was the best. In high school, I used to dunk, and I used to catch the ball between my legs. And then I would come down and start walking like nothing was going on, like getting back on defense. And I'd be like, what? Tee him up, like something.
It's like, what I do?
I can't imagine that like the 6-foot kids or whatever who like just get out of U.S. history or geometry and they're like, all right, we have a basketball game today, and they get to their court and it's 7 feet plus Greg Oden catching the ball, dunking on you, and then walking down the court with the ball in between his legs after you failed your algebra.
No.
So what does his dad say to him after the game?
So I did just talk to a high school football team, and I walked in, I'm like, God, they all look like they're 9. And then, like, the first thing I say is, like, yeah, just imagine, like, tomorrow I walked in, skinnier face, this same height, same beard. And, like, I'm literally walking by them. They're, like, here, like, twigs. And I'm like, God, I know why people thought I was old when I was
people, you actually like kind of look younger now. So you've been doing.
I'll take that.
You've been doing a good job. So that's why. Yeah. People used to be like, no way he's 19. No way he's 18. Blah blah. And I was like, I think he is. Like, pretty sure he is. But
you know who the second coming of that was? Daniel Giddens. I thought he was 25 when I got to campus.
Really?
Not the second coming because he's not number one pick.
I mean,
So I didn't get a chance to spend that much time because when I came back from China, that was actually the year that they was there. So I don't know. I didn't.
I'm
get
not
a chance
comparing
to
him to
know
you.
them
I love
that
DG.
well.
I'm not comparing him to you. I'm just saying.
Where is he at now?
He's at Vermont, and he's doing really well, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
Their team
Best
is
of luck
awesome.
to him.
Yeah.
So what's a more physically dominant object? Greg Oden in the post or the Great Wall of China?
Wait,
Anyway,
I have a better version of that question. Since Ohio State just beats Penn State when we're recording this, who's more dominant in college, you or Chase Young?
Good question.
Thanks.
This is a great question. Chase Young. You got to think about this. This man, so for Ohio State history, well, he has 15 and a half sacks.
He might have 16 and a half
16.
when the game was done.
Okay, yes. Okay,
Yeah.
so Vernon Goldston had 14 or
Yeah, 14.
This man actually just sat out 2 games. what
And we still got games to go.
Yes, and we still got games to go. This is I hope he wins the Heisman.
That'd be pretty cool, right?
For like now that football is more offensive, to have a defender come in and win the Heisman, that would be big time.
I know someone who I mean it's definitely not me, but I know someone who bet that he would win the Heisman, and it's a pretty nice payout. So I hope he wins the Heisman too for that person that put that bet in.
How much you put out?
10 to win 100. So it's $10 that I'll never care about, but it's $100 that I'll definitely care about.
Okay, if we're talking dominant players, we should talk about someone you felt could stop you. Is there anyone that you were
Or that you couldn't stop.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you went into, whether it was probably not in college, but maybe like a Roy Hibbert, but like a guy in the NBA that you were like, shit.
Boy,
like,
you just name drop someone.
Well, we just watched the highlights
but
2 minutes ago. That's why.
Okay.
no, but like you know me. I mean, I know. The only thing I know is college basketball.
Let me see. So
It's tough.
I hated guarding Carl Landry because he was so strong and he was able to pull me out to the 3-point line. I hated guarding him. I mean, that's kind of like Big Baby as well at that time. Guys who are short, who can get under my legs and strong, and then I have to go out and they had a little bit of quickness. But But I remember the first time I had to guard Shaq. It was literally like his back was this table. Like I remember I didn't see the ball. Like I was looking
Shaq.
for,
That's big boy Shaq.
Yeah. And then Yao, man, Yao was just so big. Like no matter what you did, you couldn't move him. And then he would turn around and shoot a fadeaway jump shot in your face, and you're like, dude, you're 7'3", man. Like, how are you fading away? That's making it even more unfair.
Is there anyone that you watch now or recently that you're like, holy shit, that dude is incredible? Maybe not comparing him to someone like you, but someone that you're like, wow, like that dude is unstoppable, unguardable, whether college, NBA, whatever. Is there anyone that comes to mind for that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to name them in order.
Yeah, no particular order.
I'm going Embiid is one of them. Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Davis. I like Vucevic as well. And I was a big DeMarcus Cousins fan. I definitely thought he was the number one center in the league before his injuries. But then a lot of these young guys, they run, man. They run. And that's something I'll be like, hold on, man. Try to trip them or something. Like, hold on. So
grab his jersey, give one of these.
Throw the ball like so they can't take it out so fast.
That's why you dunked it. That's why you dunked it like that.
Yes.
So that you can run back.
So I was going out, catching my legs and walk a couple of steps. And then like, oh, y'all take it. I got to get back. But nah, I mean, all those centers and then, the guards. The number one unstoppable guy in the league, though, is KD. Yeah. I mean, a healthy KD is just, he's impossible to guard. And even when you do get there, he'll just shoot over you because he's like 6'10", 6'11". So.
How tall is he actually?
6'11".
He's not 7 feet?
He might be 7 feet with his shoes on.
Because
Stuff a couple pairs of socks and shoes too.
When Texas was playing on ESPN the other day, we're watching, and he was sitting courtside, obviously, because it was in New York, and they're talking about how he insists on being listed at under 7 feet, even though he is. But you would be the best judge considering.
I can see why. But like for me, like I'm 6'11" and a half, but I don't go around saying that. That's just too much.
Right.
So I just go 7 feet.
Yeah, you're a footer.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's easy.
So you're lying.
No. It's the same.
With my shoes on, though, yeah. That adds it.
And when do you not have your shoes on?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm 5'11", I'm 6 feet on a good day, but I just say I'm a footer because, like,
when your back's not hurt and you're standing up straight
exactly.
that day.
So I have these pair of Timberland boots, and something I've noticed is that I can stand on my tippy toes without bringing the bottom of the shoe up. So it doesn't look like I'm.
Sounds like your shoes are way too big for you.
Well, no, I've found a trick within this pair of shoes.
It's a height loophole.
So I can make myself like 5'11" and a half, really close to 6 feet, and you can't tell that my feet are off the ground.
You know what? He got the Timberland heels.
Exactly.
I did see someone the other day at the barbershop. The dude looked like he was walking on his toes, but he wasn't, and he was a short dude.
Yeah.
And it was boots I've never seen before.
Heels.
I was like, those are women's boots.
Yeah.
They have to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. He's just working on his calves.
Yeah.
What size shoe do you wear?
19.
When were you a size 19? Freshman year of high school.
I mean, no, because I was 17 then. So it had to be before, like, junior year.
You have to get, like, you can't just, like, go to Foot Locker and be like, yo, I'm size 17. You have to custom get your shoes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say custom. I mean, I'm still a Nike athlete.
You are.
They hook you up a little bit. So,
the Air Odens. Those are the best shoes that we ever saw in the locker room.
Oh, my gosh. I just went home. I just got back from Indiana, and I went and got a box of them, actually. I was like, let me get a couple of these and see what they looking like. And, I've never worn them, so
the golden red ones.
6 ones.
Those are the best.
Yeah, I mean, I love them.
What did you wear in what'd you wear in the Big Three?
I wore my Air Odens. What you mean? I literally got 10 boxes of like 8 shoes in each box of Air Odens that I've never worn before. I think I need to like do something online and like give them away. Like
the Air Odens is that's what separated you as a member of the Ohio State scout team.
Oh yeah, of course.
When you have me, you, CJ Walker, you in the Air Odens, is anyone going to stop us?
Only thing that's going to stop us if Coach told us to go up and down. I was like, I got about 2.
I remember Coach Holt would always, the day of, he would say, hey, G, just so you know, like, we are going to be going up and down today. And so you can hop on the bike and...
Let me warm up real quick. That up and down is different.
How happy were you when you found a basketball league that was half court and you could just...
Oh, my gosh. I love it. Like, I will literally play in this league till they tell me we don't need you no more.
The only reason they tell you they don't need you is because no one can stop you.
I wish I was that good last year, but, next year I'm going to be better.
Are you working harder with the mindset that you want to play better in the Big Three?
When that time comes, yes. It's only in the summertime. I'm not killing myself right now. But, I'm trying to stay slim a little bit. But when that time comes, and after going through it, I kind of now know I can be more mentally prepared.
What about the going against Scalabrini? How about that game?
So it was funny because everybody was like, dude, why you keep on throwing these elbows? I was like, I really wasn't throwing elbows. I was just playing a big man's game. And if somebody's up in your space, you got to use them. Of
course.
Yeah. And I wasn't throwing them at his face. I was just trying to get some space. But I guess it was something because it was my first big, good game, I guess. And we won that game. So I'll take it.
And Scal after the game was like, what do you guys want me to do? Like, you go out there and you try and guard Greg Oden.
The first jersey that I ever had was a Ohio State 20 jersey. It wasn't Oden because obviously you can't.
I was about to say I don't believe you.
Right. No, Joey can show you. We posted from the Drive the Lane Twitter like a Throwback Thursday picture, and it was Joey like in his 14 jersey on the court, like after hitting the three, and it was me like in like 5th grade in my Greg Oden jersey that my mom had to like stretch over her knees for it to fit me.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was a big
even though I didn't get none of those sales of that jersey.
You got on the back end though.
Like you got drafted and then you made it.
Yeah, I got drafted, but I didn't back into that jersey sale.
No,
that's not my way.
That's not what I meant. And I thought you were going to take that a completely different way. I'm glad it didn't go that way.
Did you get any years in the NBA in the like jersey swap era?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Like, you know how
like when dudes
swap,
just
like
walk off the court and
No.
take.
So you don't have any like jerseys in your house?
I don't have any jersey. I got a Jeff Green jersey because his mom and my mom are best friends.
That's very cute. Yeah.
It happens.
Jeff Green,
I got
what-
Mike's jersey.
Of course you have Mike's. You got Titus's. Oh, wait, no.
No, I don't have Titus's. Yeah, I never was big. I got a bunch of shoes, so like all the teams that I played with in the league, we would all have everybody sign a pair of shoes. And
That's awesome.
Keep that.
We want to hear maybe an untold story that's not out there that we can be the first to not report, but the first ones to have access to.
Untold story. From what era?
I feel like NBA is probably crazier.
Untold.
Maybe like a night out where like Dwayne Wade goes a little too crazy, or like something. I don't know. I was just trying to get your mind rolling.
All right. So one time we was in D.C. I want to say, and I remember we was with the Heatles. And, it's just so crazy because I wasn't used to that. Like I came on to that team, so I wasn't used to all that. So I like kind of snuck off. I wasn't sitting in the section. I like snuck off on the other side of the bar, just standing up by myself. Just I can see them, making sure they don't leave me. But I was like, that's too much for me. And just chilling by the bar by myself, and then out of nowhere, this head pops up. G, you good? I was like, oh shit. He was like, yeah, I'm good. He was like, all right. And then went back to the section. I was like, damn, he cool in the motherfucker. Can y'all guess who that was?
On the Heatles.
On the Heatles.
Is it an easy answer or a hard answer?
It is the easy answer.
All right, then it's LeBron.
That's when I was really like, damn, that motherfucker cool, man.
He's got the juice, man. He's awesome.
He just snuck up on me and was like, you good? And then rolled out. I was like, all right, you know what? After that, he cool.
You're like, I might be in the right spot right now.
I mean, I did. That's the one thing I have noticed from being on that team and being on other teams and seeing how teams are, how that Heat team was like such good teammates. You know, everybody was going out and ready to put it all on the line every night for each other. But off the court, everybody was trying to be a great teammate, just trying to mesh well together. And you don't realize how much a team needs that until, you know, you don't see it. And you're like, yeah, that's not going to be a good situation in the end.
Right. Makes sense.
Absolutely.
So who's cooler, LeBron or Justin Timberlake?
Whoa. Oh, man.
I mean, I knew of JT a lot longer. I'm just putting it like this. I was a big NSYNC fan.
Oh, I'm Team Justin Timberlake.
So, I got to go with JT with that one, you know. And, you know,
well,
we did some pretty cool things together. Yeah. I'm not saying we didn't with LeBron, but I'm just saying, you know, watching him grow up from Mickey Mouse Club to NSYNC to doing his own thing, to me getting on the stage at the ESPYs, and then to going to the Man of the Woods concert, seeing him and Mike Conley in the back actually doing a medley. It was like, hold on now. He pretty cool.
Wait, what's that story with Conley?
So we got to go to the Man of the Woods, and Mike has a relationship with JT when he was in Memphis. So he got us, me and my wife, Mike, his wife, some backstage passes, and we were hanging out with them. And Mike ended up getting on one of his little soundboards and making his own beat. And he came over there, and him and Mike was making the beats. And I was like, I'm gonna mess this up. So I just watched from a distance. But that was pretty cool. That was a cool moment for real.
What's your favorite Justin Timberlake song?
What's the new one about it? Well, it's not new, but it was the one about his grandparents. Mirrors.
Oh, yeah.
Back at me. Yep. That,
Great song.
Oh, my God.
That album is incredible.
Yes, I used to listen to that song on repeat for a while.
That was your pop-up song before games?
No. That was a retired Greg favorite song.
I could just so see you got your headphones on, getting ready. And, cry me a river. Oh, cry me a river. As
cry me.
That was pretty good. That was good, yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
Have you ever asked them, like, yo, like,
let me hop on a track?
Can we do, like, a duet?
I mean, did y'all not know that I actually sang on that stage
of
when
course.
we was on the ESPYs?
I mean, that's the most legendary performance of your career.
Yes, it was my only performance.
No, I think he means basketball.
I mean
or
anything.
Like,
well, that was just mean.
Well, what's a better individual moment?
Slide back over here. You keep switching who you like.
What's the best better individual moment? So you singing on the ESPYs or your block against Tennessee?
I think the ball was still in his hands against Tennessee. And actually,
so it wouldn't have mattered, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like,
that hurts
if you look at it, like, I think the ball was still in his hands, but the block was just, exclamation point.
Yes.
But that was pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie. Like, nobody saw when I did that performance and I stood up and waved. Like, we did this little thing. Like, my suit was pretty big. The tie was big, but everything else was, like, super small. Like, the jacket was, like, up here. So I pretty much enjoyed that. And the ESPYs is, like, one of my favorite events of all time.
Yeah. Do you have, like, a forever ticket to that? Like, if you want to, can you go no problem, or you gotta buy it?
I hope so.
Have you been back since that?
I have. Not this past year, but the year before that, me and my wife went. Had a good time.
I think the ESPYs is definitely on my bucket list in terms of, I mean, it's an athlete award show. Like, that, just the concept of that is just so cool. And then you just, like, for you, being around LeBron and stuff, you do that in your sleep. But, like, for me to see, like, LeBron and then, like, Tom Brady, like, that's pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would like to see Tom Brady. I'm a big Tom Brady fan, even though he went to that school up north as well.
Yeah, but there's a pass when you're the greatest of all time.
No. Joey, you haven't learned that yet. There's never
let me
a pass.
rephrase. There's
you've
never
been
a
saying
pass.
a lot of things.
There's never a pass, but you don't have to. You have to not hold it against him when you're talking about the GOAT. How about that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
Okay.
I will give you that.
That's a better way of.
If you're looking to go to the ESPYs this year and your wife has a conflict or anything, I would be happy to accompany you to the ESPYs.
So, Joey.
Wait. Okay. Before we let you go, because you've given us way more time than necessary. Oh. Let's do a quick Joey Lane story.
A quick Joey Lane story.
Because I have a great one between us.
I want to hear yours because I'm kind of excited to hear yours. My favorite Joey Lane story had to be your last game. Because I was watching it, and so all the guys coming in off the bench, and Joey's like trying to defer to everybody, and then missed like 6 shots in a row. I swear to God, I saw it in his face. If you would have saw him turn to fucking Superman and hit this 3, like he thought he knew he could do this. Like everybody was going up missing, he was just like fuck me, bro. He just shot it in the bed. He was like, I was like, okay, Joey, let's go, Joey.
That was the game. That was the game to win the Big Macs.
Yes.
Yeah, that you got it. That's important.
Yes, it was. Because I kept missing it. And I was like, Joey, if you don't take this shot, and he did, and he got it. That was awesome. Or we can talk about the time where we just went off on scout team, and like we were really like playing. Coach Hope kind of got pissed.
Like we were there were times like, I mean, CJ Walker obviously is outstanding. I mean, I was a good basketball player, but like as a scout team member, like you get this confidence that's like hard to like put into words, because if you screw up, like it literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So there were days where the combination, like me, Danny Hummer, CJ, Gio, and probably Robbie, like
It was Robbie.
whoever was our 5th, they could not stop us, and to a point where Holtman would have to stop the drill.
Like, he was. I felt like he got mad at us for being too good. We're having a good day,
and we're laughing. Like that's like.
Oh yeah, he definitely got mad.
Like that's why he's getting mad. Like we're having a great time.
We're celebrating. Like they're in practice. We're celebrating our group. Even Coach T is like, "Go ahead."
You didn't play in the like manager games though, did you?
So I played in.
You played in a couple. I have a video.
I want to say it was. I played in 2, and I think I'm talking about the manager games against the other. schools.
Like against.
I think I played in 2. One of them I remember was against Maryland because they brought Juan Dixon, and I played in that one.
Quick
It was
little counter.
kind of unfair.
Yeah.
It was good, and then they were like, "Yeah, Greg," they said. It's too unfair because you and then Robbie's shooting NBA threes.
Robbie is a manager now, program assistant, who is one of the best manager players like ever.
Yeah.
Like Jay Billis even talked about him.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah. So shout out to Rob because
So I went to Mizzou, and I think Mizzou won the manager championship or something.
Ohio State always has the best team.
And I remember seeing that, and I was like, Oden must not have played in the tournament or whatever. I was like, if he's on the manager team, there's no way Mizzou's winning.
It's weird because whenever they would come to Ohio State, they would go, you can't have any professional basketball experience.
Yeah.
But then, like, the other teams would, like, bring, like, a guy who's played 10 years overseas.
In Belgium or
now,
yeah, exactly.
And now he's on their staff and he gets to play. But I'm like,
They would have so many loopholes when they came to Ohio State because they didn't want Gio to play. They would say only managers, or they would say, you can only bring one guy that's not, and that would be Robbie, obviously.
Yeah.
One guy who's not a manager, like who's within the program. Like, but there was a point where like Northwestern, when we played at Northwestern, they thought Gio was going to come, and they had a person from the women's program that played professional basketball there just in case Gio showed up.
I did not know that, and that's not fair. I wish I would have knew that.
Exactly. So, but I have to tell my story, obviously, and as soon as I say it happened in Spain, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But my roommate was Danny Hummer in Spain for one of the 3 cities we were at. Danny, Dokic, and Gio had been out in the town. And I had also, but I came back a little bit earlier than them because in Spain it's cool to stay out till 8 in the morning. And we had a tour the next day. And when I was back sleeping, and when they got back, Gio opened the door, ran in, and all 7 foot of him jumped on top of me and woke me up. And it was like, smoke, it's time for breakfast. And I'm like, I don't want to miss the bus or whatever, you know what I mean? And I get up and it's like 7:30 in the morning.
You were just getting back?
Yeah.
Oh, we had some good times. Me, Danny, and Dokic, we ate breakfast every morning. Put it like that.
Like I had fun in Spain, but like I was under the like cultural, like I want to make sure that I'm enjoying the next day. But you guys were a part of the culture of I want to experience the nightlife, which I was
did
jealous
the day, but that was, I know this day you're talking about because that was the day I missed that tour.
Oh, yeah.
Then I heard that was the hottest day that we were there, so I didn't miss much because they literally was like, we're in this small town. It is literally no shade. Everybody's just walking through this abandoned town sweating.
No, it's not fair because as a player, you have to go. You have to go, but when you are an Ohio State legend, You do not have to go. So he was operating under the assumption that he got to sleep until 11 when everyone else got to sleep until 8. So, but that was the day that we ended up going to the aquarium in Valencia, which was fun for the people that weren't out till 8:30 in the morning.
When they got back, I was eating lunch. Like, okay.
You're like, I'm about to go to the beach. Like, what do you guys want to do? We're like, we're all taking a nap. All of us.
Wow, it was good. But don't let him fool you. This fool was asleep at 12 every night in Spain. I was highly disappointed. And actually, I told you every day how disappointed I was. No.
And you had every right to be. 12 is that's not fair. I had one night where I was out till 4. It's pretty good.
Well, because it was a team thing. They made you.
No. It was me, Key, Danny, and Dokic in a Spanish casino.
How many pesos did you win?
Oh, my God. Let's not talk about that.
How much pesos?
Was it negative, like a million?
It's euros. But also in Spain, we were playing blackjack. It's all virtual. There's no dealer. Like, you're just sitting there, and it's like, how am I supposed to win? I'm playing against a robot. But anyway.
I have one final question that's probably the most important question of the interview. What is the most frustrating thing about being 7 feet tall? Excuse me, 6'11 and a half.
Airplanes.
Yeah.
Airplanes. Like literally from like my knees to my back. If I had to sit and coach, if I had to sit and coach, like my leg literally can't fit in between that space.
Do you still ever sit and coach?
Sometimes you have to. If you got to get somewhere and it's overbooked or first class is sold out. And one time this lady didn't want to switch with me. And I remember most of the plane kind of gave her the evil eye, so I didn't have to. And then
You're too nice of a guy for that, too.
I am, but somebody finally switched with me. But that's the worst. Like sitting on the airplane when I don't have an exit row or a bulkhead or first class, I sweat a little bit.
You should be the face of a new campaign that allows people that are a certain height, when they bring their ID, like you got to scan your ID or whatever to become this person, like it's just like pre-check, to have priority access to like the exit row. It's a pretty good idea.
Did you just come up with that?
Yeah, it's a pretty good idea.
I mean, they're not going to give us like special privileges unless we pay for it.
But like that's like almost medical. Like if you're
it is a handicap,
right?
I literally use it as a handicap, so that's why I always sit in handicap seats at the movie theater. I need the extra leg room.
What if you said the most frustrating thing about 7 foot is like it was a hard process to get the movie theater handicap seats.
So if someone comes up to you in a wheelchair, you're like, look, my legs are super long. Or would you get up?
There's other ones I would get up.
You'd be like, hey, my man, like, across the aisle.
And
like,
y'all know how the movie theaters are. I was like, hold on, I paid for mine. Don't be trying to come just guilt me out of my seat.
That's incredible.
I think that's a pretty good ending.
Yeah, I think so too.
Anything else you want to say or cover?
Any questions for us?
No questions. But I am happy to be on you guys' podcast. I guess I got to give it a listen, see what you guys are talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have an interview with a special person in your life that you'll want to listen to, and it's not Titus. So,
I mean,
we can talk about that.
My wife's here. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we're getting
her. Yeah, she's on next week. So
we actually have a headset for her. She doesn't have to hold the mic the whole time.
I couldn't get a headset, but she gets one.
Stop. Like, we didn't offer you the headset. Oh, my gosh. All right, Gio.
All right, Greg Oden, legend.
This is so fun.
Thank you, guys. Yes, sir.
We warned you, as we do with every interview, Greg Oden is the man. Greg Oden is silly. Greg Oden is funny. Greg Oden, I think he's the best / most dominant player in Ohio State history.
Yeah, talking to other coaches that coached against him, coached for him, players that have seen him, they're like, Gio is just a different level, just a different breed, the most unique player in terms of domination of games and stuff, and he did it offensively, defensively. I mean, people talk about some of his unbelievable dunks, but the thing that I was most excited about, and we talked about in the interview, was his block against Tennessee, because that just shows you the dude was willing to do anything to win for the team and stuff, and that just also shows how freaking unbelievably dominant he was. I mean, the dude's outrageous, and he's the nicest guy ever. Super, super fun interview. Looking forward to seeing what he does in the future, but, he's the most interesting man, because the dude does just about everything and has fun doing it.
that just about wraps it up for this week's episode of the show. You know, we have another awesome episode coming next week. It's our final of our recordings from when we went to
On that little road trip.
To Columbus. So our final guest from that you're going to enjoy very much. And, of course, next time you hear from us, we will know officially that Ohio State is the Big Ten champs. It will not just be speculation.
It's true.
And we will know where they will be playing and who they will be playing in the playoffs. So we'll, of course, break it down and discuss that a little bit.
But most importantly, I will be going to North Carolina to watch Ohio State play at UNC because going with Scotty Lane, my dad, he's a big stadium guy, so he wants to experience all the different stadiums he can, and obviously the Dean Dome is definitely one of those. So I'm super excited about that. That should be an absolute blast. We'll definitely know if the Buckeye basketball team, the Basket Bucks, are if they're for real after that game, which I think we both agree that they will be because defense travels and North Carolina has looked pedestrian the last couple games that they've been out there. So should be super, super exciting.
I'm excited to see DJ Carton and Cole Anthony.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. But the most important thing is I got to win this fantasy matchup that I have right now. It's the week before the playoffs. My team had a 60-point cushion to have most points in the league, which gets their money back in our league. And my team is shitting the bed. So not only will I might not have the most points in the league, I might get bumped from out of the playoffs in what would be the craziest swing of events since Michigan last beat Ohio State.
Fans, tell us on Twitter, who would you rather see miss the playoff, Joey or Ohio State? Buckle up.
I mean, I would sacrifice my fantasy team if maybe. I don't know, it's a lot of money to be won. But we don't gamble.
We don't gamble, and we definitely, neither of us have money on Ohio State winning the national championship in either sport. Buckle up.
I don't. So
buckle up and drive the lane.
Buckle up and drive the lane.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and you know we got Buck IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.